What's up, guys? Today I'm going to give you an actual beginner's guide on how to start Amazon FBA in 2026 because some things have changed, but a lot of people overcomplicate the whole FBA process. They start talking about LLCs, tax exemptions, resale certificates, all these sorts of things that beginners just don't need. You don't need a 3 or 6 hour course to teach you how to do this. It's not that complicated. So instead, in this video, I'm going to show you what I would do if I was actually starting over in 2026 and doing FBA again for the very first time, and show you how to apply the years of tips and tricks I've learned to help you succeed. And instead of just explaining it, I'm just going to literally show you on the screen. I'm going to keep it as simple as I can for this video. And real quickly, if you don't know what FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. You essentially send your products into Amazon and they sell them for you. You might think big warehouses and businesses are the ones doing this, but no. Most sellers on Amazon are just people like you and me, which is a common misconception I see a lot of people make. People think you need these gigantic warehouses and this unlimited budget to get started in this, but no. Over 75% of FBA sellers are just normal people, meaning everyday individual side hustlers or small business owners, rather than massive corporations. And this is on the biggest store in the world with Amazon. You might be asking yourself, why? How is this possible? Well, FBA makes selling on Amazon and just selling online super easy because all you have to do is buy it and send it into Amazon. And guys, real quickly, let me just say, if you've ever done FBA, you know the hardest part about all of this is sourcing and finding profitable products. I have a Patreon where I post profitable products for you to just click and buy. I list the most popular brands and the brands that you are actually selling right now. I also create a full beginner's course for sellers like you who want to get one step ahead of the competition. It basically covers everything I've learned over the years to help speed up your learning curve. At the end of the day, investing in yourself is one of the safest bets you can make. If you're interested in either of those, be sure to check out the links in the description. Back to the video. So let's say you buy 30 quantity of an item that you're selling online. Instead of shipping out all 30 items individually to each person who makes a purchase, you send all 30 into Amazon all at once, and they take care of the whole process for you. They bag it and ship it for you because it's coming out of their warehouse, and it'll sell quicker because if it's at their warehouse, it's Prime eligible, meaning anyone who has Amazon Prime is gonna be able to get that item like same day or like maybe in a day or two. And that Prime shipping will make people pay more for your items. So this whole process is just so easy because you're just buying things online, tried and true brands, and sending them into Amazon, and they're buying them. I truly think it's one of the best side hustles and ways to make money online because Amazon automates it for you by completing most of the process. All you're doing is buying it, taking the labels off, putting on new labels onto that box and the items, and sending them into Amazon. Okay, so step one, what do you need to get started on this? Financially speaking, I would say you're going to hear a bunch of numbers depending on which guide you click on. You'll hear people say 1,000, 500, 5,000. The reality is, the amount of money you need to start this up is the amount of money you need to spend on your very first order to send products in Amazon. There's no limit or like threshold that you need to spend in order to sell on Amazon. Like, it's not like when you make your account, they're going to say you need to spend this much or send this much inventory per month. That is a common misconception I see because a lot of people say you need this random arbitrary number to get started, when in reality, the amount you need to get started is just the amount that you use to make your first purchase to send into Amazon. And that's it. It could be $50, it could be $30, or it could be $500. So with that in mind, the very first thing you need to actually do is create your account. And it's not that hard of a process. If you've ever signed up for like a bank, it's kind of a similar thing. You just need to make sure you give them all the correct information and prove where you live. It's essentially the same process, in my opinion. And to find this, just literally Google Amazon seller sign up, and this will be the first thing that comes up. And then just begin the process. Again, it's just like signing up for a bank. They're gonna verify your information, verify your address, and then you're pretty much good to go. So after you've signed up, what do you actually need to get started on this? Honestly, everyone has a phone, so I'm just gonna throw that in there. This isn't even something you necessarily need. What you truly need is a laptop or desktop and a label printer. That's essentially it. And then you just need shipping supplies. Now, the best part about Amazon FBA is you can usually just reuse the box that is shipped to you. Like whatever box the retailer or manufacturer ships to you, you can usually just reuse that. Some companies will go out of their way to send you, like if you order 10 things, they'll send you 10 individual tiny little bags or packages. But most of the time you're getting everything in 1 or 2 boxes and you can just reuse those same boxes. But just to play it safe, I would get a few small boxes. I honestly think one, if you guys want a nice little secret tip, if you or anyone who lives in your household buys on Amazon already or just from other retailers online, save those boxes. You can reuse all of those boxes that ship to Amazon and it's free. Just keep the boxes that are sent to you, fold them up so you can save space and reuse them. Now, an optional tool that I think is honestly a must and pays for itself is SellerAmp. This gives you charts and all of the history for each item, which can allow you to do actual research. You can view the offer counts, the price history, all of that, and it will help you make informed decisions when you're purchasing. It's only like $20 a month. It more than pays for itself. Seriously. I honestly think this is a must because when you're sourcing, all you have to do is left click on an item and it'll pop up all the information. I'll show you real quick. Now, I didn't do any research on this. I literally clicked on the first sale I could find on my email, but literally just right click, say a search. And on the right side here, it'll pull up all the listings that might match this. And it's that simple. That's what I love about this. And then you just open up. And again, this isn't an item that I'm actually trying to sell, but just to give you an idea, shows you the price history. You can zoom in, zoom out of different time periods, and you can see the actual information you need. And I know at first it might be like, oh, I don't want to spend this extra $20 a month. That's a bit much, but I promise you it pays for itself. Seriously. So next comes the biggest first hurdle you have to make when selling on Amazon, and that is getting ungated for brands. Most brands on Amazon are gated, meaning you need to get accepted in order to sell them under that brand in that category. This sounds scary, and it seems scary when you first begin because you can't sell most popular name brands, but it's not as complicated as it sounds. And there are brands that you are auto ungated for. You can look those up on Google, and other people have uploaded lists of those. I personally try avoiding those, especially when I was first beginning, just because if everyone can list on them, that means everyone's going to be selling them, and the competition is just insane on those items. So while it sounds nice to be automatically ungated and be able to sell that brand, and being gated and not being able to sell certain brands sounds like a hassle, it's honestly a blessing in disguise because that means not everyone can hop on these listings. And the people that don't know how to get ungated won't be ungated. So with that said, I would really focus on getting ungated for big brands. Now, I'm sure you probably know a lot of big brand names yourself. Just think of the ones you see in stores all the time or hear about the most or see commercials about. You know, if you're thinking of clothing, you're thinking of the North Face, Nike, Under Armour, brands like that, Adidas. Or if it's toys, you're thinking about Hasbro, Pokemon, Fisher-Price. There's all sorts of brands for toys. And like video games, you're thinking of the EAs, the 2Ks, all of that. Call of Duty. But if you really want to find and search for these, it's honestly not that hard of a process in itself. So all you have to look for is Amazon's bestsellers list. They actually show you what's selling on Amazon and rank every single item on here for the most part. Now here's the key. The ungated process usually requires you to just submit an invoice. That's it. And the amount of quantity you need to purchase for this invoice is the only thing that changes. The minimum is usually 10, and it can go anywhere from like 10 to 100 to 1,000, 500. It really just depends on the brand and what they require for you specifically. So when you're first starting out, you want to find a brand that one, only requires 10 quantity to get ungated for your invoice. That means you're only ordering 10 of that item in one order. And two, you want to make sure you can purchase this from a website that has free returns because the ungating process isn't automatic. I do think it's not as complicated as people make it out to be, but it's not guaranteed. So with that said, play it safe, order from a place that has returns, and just let that be that. That way, you either get ungated or you get all of your money back. You don't lose. So if you open an item up on Amazon and you do have SAS, it'll automatically open up here to where you can view this item. But if you need to find this item, you need one of its identification numbers. These consist of UPCs, ASINs, and they have all sorts of numbers to help identify each product. And there's usually multiple for each. You can see right here as an ASIN and a UPC. SellerAmp makes it really simple for you to find and locate these. So if you scroll down on Amazon listing, and this is also on mobile, if you look under details, you can usually find the information here. Here we have the UPC. So if we just copy this, or if you don't have SAS, you just need to check on Amazon Seller Central. This is the main hub for once you get approved in Amazon selling. I'm assuming a lot of you are already at this process. But if you're not already, you just click on the top left of your screen, click catalog, add product, and then search in the bar that code that you just copied from the Amazon listing. And this will bring up, but just to show you, you enter in here, it'll bring it up automatically. Make sure you always click new for this. It'll load for a second, and it says you need approval to list this brand. So you would just click apply to sell, request approval. So you can see here, it only requires 10 units, which means, okay, now you get the green light to go purchase this. Make sure you can check all of these boxes. It really is just making sure that all of your information that you use to check out with matches your Amazon account. That means not only your name and address, but also your payment information. You want that card you use to also be on your Amazon account. And you can have multiple cards on your Amazon account. So just make sure all of your payment methods that you might use will be on here. But again, you just check all of these boxes right here, and then you upload the invoice to here. Now, the whole process of how this works, it changes. It's usually heavily automated nowadays within Amazon. So there's certain things that can be triggered here. It's hard to say what is working in this moment, depending on when you're watching this video, because you just don't know. It's something that's constantly changing. I do have a Patreon where I do give the latest information on how to actually get ungated, because it's just something that's constantly changing seemingly almost every quarter of the year. So I would love to tell you, like, just submit it this way and it'll work. It's usually just a simple process of getting your invoice from the place that you buy it from and submitting it. But again, this is something that's constantly changing. But with that said, so let's say now you see you need 10 units of this. We need to go find this item on Google. The best thing about SellerAmp is if you look back up here, it'll automatically Google it for you. You don't even have to worry about that. So I just click there, see that DSG has it, Target has it, which is even better. Just gonna open that in the new tab. Target and Walmart are the best for getting ungated when you're starting out because they both work. I do know both those work right now because those are what I use the most. Now again, I'm not highlighting this to show that it is a profitable product. I'm just showing you as an example. So you would buy 10 quantities of this, wait until it arrives, and then once it arrives, go into your order information. It changes all the time depending on what website you're on, for whether it's Target or Walmart, and where like this little section's at. But both these websites have an option for you to download an invoice or download a digital copy of your receipt in a PDF form of some sort. And that's what you submit. But again, these sorts of things are a little tricky because it constantly changes in the way that it's automatically declined sometimes, which does happen. These sorts of things are always changing. So if you want the most latest up-to-date methods, be sure to check out that Patreon. But with that said, if you are declined your first time, you can keep resubmitting as long as you change certain things, because if you don't change things, it'll get all declined because of their internal system. It was something will get triggered that you're just resubmitting the same thing without changing anything. But don't worry, don't be afraid of this process. Getting denied isn't bad. Nothing bad happens to your account. Nothing like that. And don't be alarmed if you see for popular brands, they're requiring like 1,000 quantity or 500. This is very common, especially when you're just starting out, and it's primarily because they want to make sure that you can prove to them that you're a legit seller. So while some brands might still be gated behind high quantities, I promise you there's plenty of brands out there that only require 10. And if you want one secret on how to find brands pretty quickly, I will show you one. This is called reverse sourcing. So let's go back to the listing on SAS. You want to go down here to offers. These are all the people selling it. You want to find another FBA seller and just simply look through their store. So you can pull up another seller here. And the beauty about this is meaning that if you can sell this brand, you can probably sell these eventually as well. This is a good way to find brands and to find products. So now you just wait for the product to come in, you get ungated, and then you just send it out to Amazon. The process is very simple nowadays. It's almost the same for just about all items. For this, you just need some type of kitchen scale or a shipping scale to weigh your products. And then you just need a tape measure ruler to measure the dimensions of this. Then you just need to print the barcodes that Amazon gives you, put those on each item, and then put those back in the box. Take the old label off or cover it up if it's not peeling off cleanly, and put on your new labels that you get from shipping. I would show you guys how to do this, but it's really simple once you get in there, and Amazon kind of walks you through it like step by step as you start beginning to do this. And I'm assuming a lot of you already know how to do this if you're watching this. Then you send your product into Amazon. It usually takes a week or two to hit your inventory, and then bam, it'll be in your inventory. If you guys want one more little tip, make sure your price is higher than what it's selling for when you're listing it. That way it can't sell before it gets in there, because it can technically sell while Amazon is registering it into their system. But it's not ideal because sometimes the wait times isn't guaranteed, like how long that process could take, and customers will start canceling orders, and they can kind of create a little bit of a headache because they're ordering things that aren't technically available in your inventory yet. So I usually list it higher than what it's selling for, and then once I see it's available to be sold in my inventory and ready to go, then I lower the price to match the price. And if you want to know how to price items, it really depends on the category. I go into more in depth on this in my course because it kind of really depends. Some categories you don't need to be the cheapest. Like if you're selling something popular like video games, those are going to sell like crazy all the time. And you don't even necessarily need to be the cheapest because Amazon distributes your items across the country and world. So that way people closer to their warehouses can get that next day shipping, and they try to balance it out so they kind of have coverage all over the country. So you don't necessarily always need to be the cheapest for certain items, but for some you do. But the beauty is about FBA is you can usually charge more because it's listed through FBA, meaning it can be prime shipped, and people are going to pay more in order to get it shipped to them quickly. Now, this first product that you buy to ship in, it's up to you whether or not you want it to be profitable. I usually view my first product I'm trying to get ungated as just a cost, because I'm trying to get that brand ungated so I can then sell all the different items that that brand offers. So I'm willing to eat the negative in order to eventually make that back and more with that brand. But again, you can find profitable products to get ungated with, especially if there's a sale going on at that same time. But again, I usually use the first item, like I'll just eat the $50, however much it costs to sell it on Amazon. But going forward, you're obviously going to want to find profitable products. So let me show you how to do that real quickly. So the first step, sign up for sales. All the time, constantly sign up for sales. In my Patreon, I do post the most recent sales like daily, like every single day, the big sales that companies are doing. I post them all there. But the easiest way to do this, to be honest, is to make a separate email that you're fine getting spammed with, and just sign up for every promotional newsletter that you can possibly sign up for. That way they email you for sales and you just check those. And that is the very first thing I would do. And I also already showed you the second best way, and my personal favorite way, which is called reverse sourcing, which is where I showed you in SAS when you look through other sellers' storefronts. This is so easy because you're literally just clicking buttons. I'll show you a quick little clip from my course, and it really is just that easy of clicking Google and clicking back and forth in order to find these items. So right here, I have literally a 75% off sale from Belks. I can see they got Adidas, Nike, Levi's. I'll just go to Nike real quick as an example. You want to make sure, so again, this is where you would sign up, obviously, to get your discounts. I usually like going to top sellers, or I guess on this website, they have top rated, similar thing. And then you just want to start looking. You can just right click here. You want to look for things that you think people would buy. You want to look for things that you think people would buy, like common colorways, like neutral colors for the most part, like black, gray. That's typically what most people want. They're not going to want something vibrant like these. Probably won't sell like crazy. There's probably a reason they're on sale. But again, we have something like this where it's gray and black. So you would just like literally right click on this, go to search. We can see here it would cost $53 in order for this to be profitable. We have it at $59 here. Now, this is one of the most important things. You want to make sure you're using all the tools available for you. This means cashback and any type of extra programs you can get. We saw just a second ago, we had, I think it was like $10 off or whatever on your first order. So we could apply that. There's also cashback tools and programs and different cards that offer different cashback percentages. Like PayPal debit, I use often. It gives me 5% back on clothing for my category that I choose. And we could easily make this profitable. So if you just open this up in Seller. So if we were to take the $10 off, it'd be what? I think $49.50 is what we saw. And we can see here, it would be a profit of $20. So if we would order 10 of these, it has a good sales rank and it's profitable. That means we could order as many of these as we wanted to and send them in. It's Nike. We know they're going to sell. All right, guys, that is it for this video. My camera did end up dying, but I just showed you that it doesn't take 4 hours to learn how to do this, because what I just showed you is the simple process of Amazon. Now you just need to rinse and repeat. It's all about building a routine. It's not about finding some sort of magical thing that only works for certain people. It's about building a routine. And I just showed you how to find profitable products. So you would just need to learn how to do this yourself. And if you can do it once, you can do it 10 times. You can do it 10 times, you can do it 100 times. It's really just learning and building a routine. I think in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the best options for cashback and how to really take advantage to find the hidden profits in items, because that's what separates the new sellers and the experienced ones. New sellers will see a price and think, oh, that's the cost of this. This is $59. Experienced ones will know there's usually a newsletter attached to each website that gives discounts for your first purchases, which means you can make new accounts for every order you make to get that same discount over and over again. People know that there's different gift card websites, cashback options, programs, and tools for getting more discounts, like getting cash back on the card that you use to purchase this with. I think my next video, I'm going to go a little more into that. So if that's something you would be interested in and finding the hidden profit, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Or if you just want more FBA content in general, it would mean a lot. And thank you for making it this far if you did. Don't overcomplicate Amazon FBA. It really is the best way to make money from home and from a laptop. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. And comment down below if there is anything else you want me to make videos on.